Hi YouTube. I bought myself a new bass amp and it got delivered today. But the amp that I got, there's not a great deal of information on YouTube. Certainly on some of the websites, even the Peavey website, it gives a brief description about it. But there's no actual sort of hands-on information. So anyway, I ordered this from Nevada in Portsmouth, and I had a phone call today at work from the wife telling me there's a big box arrived, so I knew what it was. Obviously it was the amp, and the amp I've got is the Peavey KTO 115 400 watt touring amp. Great value for money, very good, but there's just one gripe that I've got against it, which I'll show you in a minute, which is really annoying, but apart from that, let's have a look. Right, so this is the amp in question. As I say, it's the Peavey KTO TKO, sorry, I beg your pardon, combo bass amp. The touring version is 400 watts, which is it's quite big actually. Value for money wise, it's okay, but it's a bit of a beast, as you can see. It's literally a box with a speaker in it and and an amp at the back. It's also got a tweeter. Right, to start off with, 15-inch bass speaker up front with a tweeter in the top left-hand corner. Let's have a closer look. It's solid wood with a normal polyurethane black plastic. It's fan cooled, electronic fan cooled, which is great, but you can't seem to turn, or rather the fan doesn't come on when it gets hot. The fan seems to be on all the time, so it's not rheostat or thermostat controlled. As soon as you turn the power on, the fan comes on, but it's not too loud. It's pretty decent noise wise, but certainly something that you don't get in all amps. It runs on Class D, or rather it's categorised as Class D, which means it's built for lightness, and also the electronics inside, something to do with electronics, perhaps someone will be able to tell me. Right, okay, we've got two quite big hefty carry handles, one each side, and this is really quite heavy. It should really be a two-man job to lift this, but I managed to lift it on my own from downstairs upstairs. It was awkward, it was heavy, but I managed it. But I'm quite a big chap anyway. Right, one of the great things about this model, and also the TNT model they do, which is the 600 watt version of this, is that, if I have to excuse the camera, this is a new camera, so let's move the instructions and show us in a minute. You can kick this one back, so you can have it as a monitor, which is pretty handy. I think you can see the big 15-inch speaker. By the way, the 15-inch speaker at the front was actually designed for this particular model of bass amp, which is good. Yeah, you can see the tweeter there now. Look, with the speaker, that's the tweeter up there in the top left-hand corner. Yeah, so it'd be good for monitoring, which is quite handy. So then, hopefully, your drummer might be able to hear you when you're having a bit of a jam session. Right, the most important parts of the amp itself. We've got the input, obviously. You plug your bass into. You've got the pickup types, active and passive. I generally run with passive amps, so that's always in for me. All important gain control, which is very, very sensitive. You've got two buttons here. You've got one for the bright, which obviously is for the top end of the notes, and you've got a contour bypass button. You've got a low filter here, which runs from -15 all the way up to +15, which is quite good depending on what flavour music you like, how you like it to sound. Plenty of scope in that. You've also got a 7-band graphic equaliser on this. Another useful button here, feature wise, is you can bypass the graphic equalizer if you want to. We can have it on, which is quite a handy function. Some people don't like using graphic equalizers. I don't mind them, but you can get all sorts of weird and wonderful notes if you play around with a graphic equalizer. Obviously, as opposed to the low, you got your highs. So for those of you like slap bass, again, you can just dial in the amount of flavour you want. And of course we've got the master volume. I just noticed we've got a visitor up here in the music room. I don't know if you can see that. It's one of the kittens we got. Our female cat had 3 kittens. She's black, and she had 3 white kittens. Well, with black spots on them. Oh bless. Right, anyway, back to the amp. Peavey have got their own design of a speaker protection circuit in both this cab and the TNT series. It's a DDT speaker protection. Basically, if you spike too much when you're playing, rather than blow your speaker, it's internal circuitry inside the amp. It protects your speaker to stop you blowing it. Headphone socket. Not really sure if you need a headphone socket on such a big amp. I'm not a lover of headphones, I must admit, especially playing bass, because no matter how good your headphones are, it just doesn't sound, it always sounds distorted to me. But again, that's just my opinion. Well, anyway, that's the top section of it. So let's have a look around the back. Right, okay, so the back of the cab, you've got your normal DI output, which you can hook up to a mixing desk, which is quite handy. If you sort of record the sessions, or perhaps you want to stick it through a PA or whatever, which is quite good. Send and return, if you want to use an effects pedal. External speaker. I don't think I'll be using an external speaker for this type of, rather for this size of amp, but for you budding bass players out there who can see yourself playing Wembley in a couple of years' time, that'll certainly come in handy, because I should imagine you need quite a few cabs plugged in for venues like that. And let's have a look over here. Of course, all important on-off switch, and for UK users is the kettle lead. It's box standard kettle lead, plugged into a 3-pin plug, obviously. And just some caution bits on the back and other bits and pieces. A lot of it foreign, but hey ho. But yeah, that's the back end of the cab. That one there. Like I say, very solid. Really solid. But incredibly heavy. Really heavy. And again, a nice feature is the kickback, where you can use it as a monitor, which is all very good. Right, okay, the one gripe I've got, the one thing that really annoys me about this amp, which in my opinion ruins it, is if you have a look at the Peavey badge on the front. Yeah, that's fine like that, no problem at all with that, that looks quite nice. But when you turn the amp on, watch this. Now to me that looks bloody awful. It's just a gimmick. It's well, it's not my cup of tea. It's tacky, it's gimmicky. I was reading instructions, the Peavey manual you get with it. They've designed it like that to give the bass player presence on stage. Well, okay, but I don't know about you guys or girls, but when I play on stage, I like to give presence through my bass playing, not through some gimmicky, stupid bloody light like that. I mean, that looks awful. That looks terrible. Well, that's what it looks like without. Without. No, I just think that looks nasty. I think that looks really tacky. So what I'll probably do is stick some black tape over that to get rid of that, or maybe even see if I can disconnect the LEDs inside. I don't know. Poly black tape's going to be the safest and easiest way to go around that. But apart from that, a brilliant amp. That's the fan running. See if you can hear that. So it's not noisy at all, but it's on and it stays on all the time the amp's on, I presume. And there's the LED for the, oh, there you go. It's actually showing white here, but it's green. In case you start clipping and overloading the speaker, it should turn another colour and cut it out. I don't know if that actually changes colour with you. No, it doesn't. I thought it might have done, but it doesn't. Well, anyway, that's it. Another good thing I like about the amp as well is that all the controls are at the back. All the inputs and external speaker cables and whatnot, effects pedal plugs and all sorts of things are at the back, are out of the way. To me, there's nothing worse than seeing an amp with lots and lots of cables coming out the front. It doesn't look good. That's my opinion anyway. But yeah, okay, so that's the amp. It's quite a beastie. It's quite heavy, very rugged. It's certainly built to last. I haven't really tested it. I've only sort of, you know, turned it on for half an hour, plugged my bass in. By the way, the bass I'm using is a ESP Limited. For you anoraks out there, it's a B50. Proper bass. It's only got 4 strings, as bass guitars should have. But you know, it's I wouldn't say a cheap one, but it's certainly good enough to play with and have a few jamming sessions with my mates. And but yeah, so what I intend to do is later on next week is to actually take the amp to a practice session and get someone to do a video so you can actually hear it. Well, obviously you're not going to get you won't get the benefit of actually hearing it in person, because you can't really record bassy tones on a camera like this. So yeah, so I hope this has been helpful to somebody, and if you're thinking about getting one of these, would I recommend it? Yes, definitely, except for that stupid bloody light on the front. Let's give you some example just how bright it is. I'll turn the light off. There you go. I mean, that looks ridiculous, but again, that's just a matter of opinion. Yes, I would recommend it. £349 is an absolute bargain, especially for 400 watt amp and a Peavey amp to boot. So you know you've got quality with Peavey. I've used Peavey amps before, I've had no problems with them. So yeah, so I hope this helps.